Coming up on Bear News, an update on North Korea's missile testing.
UNC recently had a DACA rally in response to President Trump's executive decision.
We've got all that and more on this episode of Bear News.
Don't go anywhere.
When North Korea tested long-range missiles this summer, the world began to fear the possibility of nuclear war. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has been launching missiles at an alarming rate these past weeks and has grabbed the attention of the United States government. The U.S. government wants to know if North Korea is getting ingredients needed for the fuel that launches the missiles from other countries. The fuel is known as UDHM, or for unsymmetrical dimethylhydrazine. The U.S. government is focused on either halting the fuel's manufacturing or using it to slow the North's program. But intelligence officials think it may be too late to stop the production of the fuel. They believe the North's program is self-sufficient and doesn't need help from outside sources anymore. Some weapons experts are skeptical, saying the North isn't as advanced as they claim to be because manufacturing the fuel is so dangerous. Far more technologically advanced nations tried to create it, only to have it blow up on them. The United States hasn't said what it's doing to prevent more missile launches.
When President Trump decided to end the DREAM Act, dreamers and advocates for the DREAM Act protested nationwide. As Bear News reporter Sean Waldy tells us, the movement came to UNC September 7th with a protest supporting DACA.
DACA students welcome here! Say it loud, say it clear! DACA students welcome here!
On Thursday night, September 7th, UNC students and community members gathered at the Garden Theater in support of DACA. The event was organized by two UNC students, Tim Hernandez and Rudy Vargas. At the event, attendees were asked to sign a banner that will hang in the University Center on campus to help show solidarity for DACA. Both coordinators have been personally affected by President Trump's decision to remove DACA, and so have the approximate 100 DACA recipients on campus. Before the event began, those in attendance held signs and mingled with other supporters. Among the supporters was UNC's student body president, Kevion Ellis, who gave the following statement.
I mean, yeah, it really excites me to see that students are actually putting on these events. I think it's so important for us as young individuals to really get involved in the big issues that's going around. It's bigger than just what's happening on our campus, but what's also happening in our world. So it really excites me to see that. So.
The event started with a march around Toby Kindle Dining Hall and circled back to the theater. Marchers said 4 different chants during the rally, and as cars passed, they honked in support. The approximate 1,000 attendees then gathered under the setting sun to listen to prominent community members speak on DACA. Resources were provided and motivation to continue pushing for a better tomorrow was a continuous theme throughout the night. After the event concluded, coordinator Tim Hernandez had this to say.
These kind of events are essential because DACA students are insanely important. They aid our diversity of thought. They aid so many things on campus, and they bring such a diverse output once they leave here. We've had a lot of activists come from the DACA program and stuff like that, so it's just really important. It expands not only UNC's horizon, but all colleges across the United States. It expands the horizon and potential for change.
Reporting from the Garden Theater, I'm Sean Waldy, Bear News.
Coordinators Tim Hernandez and Rudy Vargas plan to hold more rallies in the future.
UNC President Kay Norton announced that she will retire in June 2018. Bear News reporter Sean Waldy has an exclusive interview with Kay Norton, so stay tuned to Bear News for further details.
What is free speech on a college campus? September 13th, the College of Humanities and Social Sciences held a discussion designed to try to find out. A good-sized crowd gathered in Columbine B at the University Center to participate in the panel discussion. College Dean Laura Connolly mediated the panel that featured panelists Floretta King, Britton Morell, Raina Anea, and Jill Higham. The event started with Connolly asking the panelists a series of questions that had been given to them earlier to allow them to prepare answers. They asked attendees to keep all questions until the end of the event, when Connolly opened the floor to an open discussion and invited audience questions. One question on attendees' minds concerned how to protect oneself from hate speech, eliciting a response from panelist Britton Morell.
You don't get to use the power of the state to shield yourself from that. Now you can shield yourself socially, you can shield yourself in other ways, but you don't get to use the government to punish people for expressing ideas that you find offensive, questionable, etc.
The discussion answered any questions for both audience members and panelists. The program plans more discussions about free speech in the upcoming weeks.
The newest addition to the Guggenheim art exhibit creates a unique experience for visitors. BearNews reporter Sarah Methuselah says that experience changes with the theft of a piece of the art.
Tragedy strikes Guggenheim's newest art installation, Echo, after an estimated $800 section was stolen. Artist Dylan Gebbia Richards created the 4,128-pound wax piece. The theft occurred on Wednesday the 13th, sometime between 2 and 3:30 p.m. The gallery guards were preoccupied during the time of the theft, and security cameras in the Mariani Gallery no longer work. Gallery curator Pamela Campanero said she was disappointed in our campus community.
If it does get returned, that the guilty party doesn't, incur any sort of legal action. He just really wants the work back, as do I. So I'm fine with someone coming in and putting it back in the place that they stole it. I'm fine with them leaving it outside of my office with an anonymous note, or just leaving it, at the foot of my door. And it'll go, without punishment.
UNC police have been contacted about the theft, yet no suspects have been arrested or come forward. The artist Dylan Gebbia Richards was contacted immediately following the incident and doesn't believe the theft takes away from the story.
Paintings were, in a lot of ways, referencing landscape and becoming these landscapes in this small, reticular contained area. And I began doing these installations because I thought, well, what would happen if, instead of creating an illusion of a landscape, I actually created a landscape and then placed the viewer inside of it in a way that you can only kind of be mentally when you're looking at a painting.
Ms. Campanero said this is a learning moment, and moving forward, pieces will be more secure. Reporting from Mariani Gallery, I'm Sarah Methuselah, BearNews.
The stolen piece was returned Friday evening with a note explaining that it was a joke taken too far.
Last Friday was a very special day, and as BearNews reporter Joe Buchanan tells us, it's a day that most students might never have heard of.
This is Joe Buchanan reporting from the Veteran Services Office here in the Rodebush Cottage. If you noticed an empty table set up this weekend in the University Center, it was for a good reason. September 15th was POW MIA Recognition Day. UNC Veteran Services commemorated the day through a military tradition known as the Missing Man Table. The table consisted of several objects symbolizing the tragedies of war. They draped it with a white tablecloth symbolizing the pure intentions of service members. The rose symbolizes shed blood. The salt represents the tears of the families. The table contained many more symbolic objects, but the focal point was the empty chair draped in a POW MIA flag. The chair recognizes those missing and fallen. Veteran Services staff member Danny Medoff said the day carries a special significance.
Yeah, just a way to demonstrate that we're always aware.
And as fellow student veteran John Reed says, the day has a special significance for the POW MIA flag as well.
This is one of the 6 days a year where you can fly the POW MIA flag. And it's a day where we take time to remember them and realize just how lucky we are that men like them stepped up and they made the ultimate sacrifice.
After the memorial, Veteran Services held an open house open to all UNC students. They hosted a barbecue at their office in the Rodebush Cottage.
Just as important it is to remember men who were killed in action, it is to remember the ones who suffered horrible acts during the war. So for that, we can't thank them enough for their sacrifice.
Reporting from Rodebush Cottage, Joe Buchanan, BearNews.
The whole event helped to remind the campus community of the personal sacrifices members of the armed forces made on our behalf over the years.
It's been a windy and warm week in Greeley. How are the current weather conditions, Michaela?
It was an absolutely beautiful September day on campus with sunny skies. Right now we have partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 90 degrees and humidity at 10% with a light breeze of 5 miles per hour. Looking to our 8 a.m. classes, we're expecting temperatures in the mid-50s, but will warm up to 57 degrees by 10 a.m. Stay tuned for a full forecast from Abigail.
Welcome to my block party. Glad you can make it.
The only triple doubles you get come with fries.
Last time you blocked someone, you were online.
I can do this all day. Your moves are just gay.
Using gay to mean dumb or stupid, not cool.
Not cool.
Not in my house, not anywhere. It's not creative, it's offensive to gay people. And you're better than that.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back. I'm meteorologist Abigail Stewart. Taking a look at our current temperatures. Sitting in Greeley, we're around 90 degrees right now, where most of the Central Plains are sitting around 100 degrees. But that's going to change as a cold front makes its way into Colorado. So you can see here, and it's going to bring colder temperatures, low pressure, rain, and clouds with it for our weekend forecast. You can even see here on the radar this line of storms trailing behind the cold front, and you can even see it on satellite as a fast-moving bank of clouds. Taking a look at our 5-day weather forecast, tomorrow we're going to see more normal temperatures at around 80 degrees with partly cloudy skies, but for this weekend, that's when the rain and thunderstorms start, with highs only reaching around 60 or 50 degrees for both days, and this trend continuing into Monday and Tuesday with cloudy skies for both days. So you may be worried, how's this forecast going to affect Community Fest on Saturday and the game? Looks like the rain's supposed to start at 2 p.m., so you should be good for Community Fest, but the highest chance for thunderstorms is from 4 to 10 p.m., which is sitting around an 80 to 90% chance. So if you plan on attending the game, definitely dress warm and bring a rain jacket and know when you need to get out of the elements. Now, we had some rather stormy weather this past few weeks, and that might even be an understatement. Specifically, I'm talking about Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma. Hurricane Harvey made landfall on August 25th as a Category 4 storm, which marked the first time in 12 years that a major hurricane made landfall in the United States. It had storm surge of around 7 feet, and the most total rain from this storm was 51.88 inches as the storm total. Now, this storm was allowed to just sit and produce so much flooding over Texas because of this stationary front right here. As you see, the evolution of this storm makes its way into Texas, is blocked by this frontal system, and just sits right over Houston. And these rain bands just keep hammering and hammering the coastline of Texas until it finally moves out back onto sea and finds a different path to cross onto the land of the United States. Hurricane Irma may not have produced as much rain, but it did produce crazy high wind speeds. The total highest wind that was recorded with this storm was 185 miles per hour, which can only be boasted by 3 other hurricanes. It also maintained the longest time spent at this high wind speed, setting a record, and also tied for the longest time spent as a Category 5 storm. It also recorded the lowest central pressure ever recorded in 10 years. Now, we do have some active hurricanes and tropical storms still sitting over the Atlantic, specifically Hurricane Maria and Tropical Storm Jose. Hurricane Maria is a Category 3 storm right now, and it did pass over Puerto Rico, but is not projected to cross over into the United States. It is entering some warmer water, which might cause it to strengthen, but not much of a concern for the U.S. Cocoraz tweeting out today that there's catastrophic flooding in Puerto Rico, and their National Weather Service radar is down, and they don't know when that's going to get back up again. Tropical Storm Jose is spinning right off towards the northeast with winds at around 60 miles an hour, which is a little bit lower than what we saw yesterday, indicating maybe some weakening from this storm. Now, we are right in the middle of climatological hurricane season, which goes from June 1st to November 30th. That's because it takes a little bit longer for the waters on the ocean to heat up compared to land, and they stay a little bit warmer longer than we do here in landlocked Colorado. And the peak of this hurricane season is usually around September 10th. We just passed that here at September 20th. So it's likely that we will be seeing some more hurricanes. And here at Bear Weather, we will keep you updated if we see anything in the Atlantic Ocean. And you'll be sure to know what's going on with the hurricane season right now. Stay tuned for more.
Kids will spend 8 minutes decorating their little brother.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
College campuses see alarming rates of sexual assault. Every year, the Take Back the Night rally aims to let survivors know they aren't alone. My co-anchor Ashley Franco got to attend the 24th annual rally this year to feel the love and support.
Last Thursday night, the Assault Survivors Advocacy Program, also known as ASAP, hosted the 24th annual Take Back the Night rally to discuss important topics surrounding sexual assault on campus. The event began at the Garden Theater, where candles were distributed and students waited in anticipation for the march to start. Before the march, 3 speakers came forward to provide resources for all students and gave some information regarding upcoming events also surrounding the topic. During the speeches, 2 volunteers of ASAP discussed how to be supporters of victims and what they want participants to take away from the event.
Even if you don't want to be part of ASAP, ask questions. Look out for our events. If you see something, say something type of thing. So
the one thing I would want people to take from this is to know that they're not alone if they're going through something.
As the last speaker finished, volunteers went around to help light the candles the participants had. During this time, the UNC choir sang in honor of victims and survivors. The march started at the Garden Theater and went to the West Campus residence halls and circled back across campus to the Garden Theater where the march ended. After the march, students were provided with refreshments and desserts as they walked around to interact with the 5 nonprofits who had set up booths at the theater. The various nonprofit groups included Bear Pantry, Sexual Assault Victim Advocate Center, Free Our Girls, A Woman's Place, and Assault Survivors Advocacy Program. In an interview with another volunteer, she talked about why she wanted to participate in the event.
I honestly haven't been been exposed to that much, intimate partner violence or sexual assault or suicide and things of that nature. So I was like, that's something I need to expose myself, especially that's going to be down the line in my career work. So better now than ever.
Reporting from the Garden Theater, I'm Ashley Franco, Bear News.
Take Back the Night is recognized all over the world and falls on the 3rd Friday of September each year. If you want to become an advocate or get more information about ASAP, check out the Women's Resource Center on campus.
Looking for ways to be safer on campus, at home, or what resources you can tap into? A health and safety fair in front of the Rec Center September 13th gave the opportunity to find more information about that and more. The event showcased various community resources and aimed at educating individuals on the importance of safety. Some organizations that were at the event included the Weld County Police Department, North Colorado Medivac, and the American Red Cross. During the event, the police canine unit put on a demonstration showing how aggressive their dogs can be. There were informational tables set up around the event with the intentions to share facts regarding various hazards that are presented in everyday life. The event ended with a bike auction for all attendees. The Health and Safety Fair provided everyone with important information that aimed at making every day a little safer.
You'll find many resources on campus that give students a better college experience. This year, a new resource center opened on campus. As Bear News reporter Sean Waldy, its mission is to help the LGBT community.
A brand new house on campus offers a safe space for all UNC students to gain knowledge regarding gender and sexuality. The Gender and Sexuality Resource Center supports all marginalized identities while creating a sense of belonging for those who identify across the sexuality spectrum. The house has many goals for the upcoming years, including creating a more equitable campus climate, providing training and programming to encourage respectful discussion, and challenging cisgender privilege and genderism. The director of the house, Stephen Lovelace, stressed the importance that all community members and students feel welcomed.
Well, I think it's important to know that the space is not only for LGBTQ students, it's actually for all of our campus community members. But it's important to have spaces on campus strictly dedicated to education around the gender and sexuality spectrums. And
another resource on campus for students exploring the topics of gender and sexuality is the student organization Spectrum. Co-presidents of Spectrum, Harrison Pettis and Ashley Edwards, explain the organization more in depth.
So Spectrum is our student organization that's centered around gender and sexuality, and it's really for anybody who identifies across gender and sexuality spectrums. And we're just there to provide services and a space for students to congregate and sort of find their family at UNC.
Yeah, so we do an annual drag show, which is kind of like a fundraiser for us to put on other programming during the year. We also have our annual queer prom in the spring, which is super awesome and fun to kind of do because it kind of gives students a chance who weren't able to go to prom in high school as themselves a way to go to prom. I personally love it. It's one of my favorite events.
The Spectrum office is located in the basement of the Gender and Sexuality Resource Center. Both programs work side by side to create the best experience for students of all backgrounds. Reporting from the Gender and Sexuality Resource Center, I'm Sean Waldy, BearNews.
The Gender and Sexuality Resource Center puts on many events throughout the year and works side by side with Spectrum to create an inclusive environment for everyone.
If you've been to the UC lately, chances are you noticed the bookstore and fan shop got a little makeover. Newly painted walls, fitting rooms, and modern merchandise give students a fresh feeling to the school year. UNC wanted the bookstore to feel more inviting for all students. They even managed to have more textbooks available so students don't have to go digging. Since the recent remodel, it seems the bookstore and fan shop is easier to navigate as well.
The always popular campus open mic nights are back in full swing at the University Center. The event on September 11th showcased the talents of 9 acts, ranging from singers, musicians, and slam poets. The night began with a singer playing the guitar and then 2 performers singing, while another played the saxophone. As more singers came on the stage and performed, the energy of the room became more vibrant. As the show continued, slam poets took to the stage and presented some of their personal pieces. The night was unlike any of the previous events due to the variety of acts who came on stage. As the night came to a close, the event coordinator said thanks to all who attended and wished them a good night. There are 4 more open mics this semester, so be sure to go out and support your fellow Bears.
Big change coming for our university due to Kay Norton's announcement she plans to retire. BearNews reporter Sarah Methuselah went to the University Center to see how students reacted to Kay Norton's announcement.
I'm Sarah Methuselah reporting from the University Center, asking students what they think about Kay Norton's retirement.
I have no clue who that is.
Well, I think she's done a lot and we're going to miss her. Yeah.
I think that it's beneficial to all of us so we can have a new leader come in and change things, because I feel like we've had a lot of problems with Kay. Like, I feel like maybe she's done a few good things, but I think it'll be beneficial to have somebody who has a different outlook on different things. Yep.
I do not know really who Kay Norton is.
I am excited to see where our university goes from here.
Honestly, not gonna lie, a little excited. I don't think we had the best culture where everybody felt safe and comfortable with some of the things that she let happen on our campus. So I think it's good that we're getting a change, honestly.
I mean, being as a freshman, it has no effect to me, not gonna lie.
I would like to agree with Luke. It doesn't really affect me at all.
I'm not sure how I think about Kay Norton's retirement. I wonder if this might be more of a issue of symbolism rather than any actual real change. I'm concerned that the Office of the Presidency may not have quite the control over the university that we ascribe to it.
I think it'll be a good change for the UNC community, so I don't see a problem with her retiring. I think it's a good thing.
Reporting from the University Center, I'm Sarah Methuselah, BearNews.
As you can tell, the student body has mixed feelings regarding Kay Norton's decision to step down. And that's our show for tonight. Thanks for joining us this evening. We'll be back next week.
Until then, stay up to date on our Twitter and Instagram at BearNews. Be sure to like us.